Bombirdier, one of my favorite newly introduced Pokemon Generation 9. We have the Flying Dart type with the abilities Rocky Payload, which is also a new ability. We got Big Pecs and Keen Eye. You're probably more likely to see Rocky Payload over Big Pecs and Keen Eye, since this Pokemon it's pretty frail, but it can definitely pack a punch with the Rocky Payload. As for Rocky Payload, this Pokemon's offensive stat is multiplied by 1.5 while using Rock type attack. And look what we got. We got Stone Edge. Has a high critical hit ratio. The accuracy is a little scary, but the power packs a huge hit. And it can be very rewarding if you get that crit. So we have Cone Claws to help us with that. It's going to raise our attack and our accuracy by 1. So that's going to be even better. We have Knockoff and the Acrobatics. And I got a little creative with this build, as we ended up adding the Select Berry to be able to outspeed a good amount of Pokemon. Since I think there's a lot of Pokemon out there that are really fast right now. So we ended up giving it the berry, which will activate at 1/4 max HP or less. And we're going to get that speed boost by 1. Not only that, we have Acrobatics, which will double if we have no held item. So we're pretty good on the stat boosting here. Not only that, I did originally have Brave Bird on here, but then I thought about it, like, bro, we're going to be taking a lot of recoil damage. It does have the option to get like dual wing beat, but actually dual wing beat could be used here as well. If there's like opposing Pokemon that are hiding behind sub, or like the, what's that penguin ice Pokemon's name? The Ice Skew and stuff like that. It also got, I think it gets like wing attack or something like that. Yeah, it gets wing attack, and I think there's another one. Pluck. Pluck is a fun one, but we'll get into that later into the video. But for all the builds, we're going to be going Jolly Nature. You're more than welcome to go Adamant if you like. But me personally, like I said, it's not the fastest Pokemon, but you can run the Adamant, maybe if you like combine it with like Sticky Webs and whatnot. But yeah, power doubles on the Acrobatics. Once we lose the berry, we're gonna get a speed boost, 1.5 damage on the Rocky Payload, the Hone Claws attack boost with the accuracy boost, Stone Edge knocking off items, 1.5. Oh my god, there's just so much 0.5, 0.2 accuracy increase. It's a phenomenal Pokemon. We're going with the, oh, we forgot about the Terra type Rock as well. Just imagine Terra type Rock with the Rocky Payload hitting Stone Edge with the high critical hit rate. It's just way too much damage. Moving on to the next build, we have a Choice Band set with the, if you want to run Rock Slide or Stone Edge, feel free to do so. But I'm running Rock Slide on this build only because we have a 30% chance to flinch, and it's 90 accuracy rather than 80, and it still can hit pretty hard. Again, with the Rocky Payload with the Choice Band, it's a 1.5. Really great damage. We got the Drill Run, so we don't get, you know, blocked by like a Toxapex, a Heatran, or even a Metagross, or any of those Pokemon that are super effective to ground types, fire types. It's always great as well. Brave Bird is a fun one. It's the strongest move that it has, honestly. So we just got to be, you know, it's more of like a sweeping build on here. But yeah, Knockoff is always good to have. Feel free to run. I think it gets like other moves as well. Lash Out could be fun. That's if like they end up going for like an Intimidate, which could be cool. Of course, that's very situational, so you have to be, you know, on board with that. But it's always nice. We have the Terra type Dark as well, so we can definitely combine that with the Knockoff, and we don't have to worry about like Prankstermons trying to go for like Thunder Wave, or, you know, any status conditions onto the Bombirdier. So that's always good. So yeah, Jolly Nature, Choice Band. Moving on to the next build, we have a Loaded Dice build, which is probably one of my favorite newly added items into Scarlet and Violet. So for this, we have Rock Blast. Rock Blast, instead of going to hit for like 2 to 3 turns, you know, that's always frustrating if you're like one Rock Blast away from picking up the knockout. It's always so frustrating. You're just always begging to hit like, oh, hit another one, hit another one. But luckily we have the Loaded Dice, which will hit 4 to 5 times. It's a nice little combination. We break Focus Sash, we can break substitutes, we can, yeah, potentially like other, I can't think of other options that it can break from here, but you get the idea. Brave Bird, knockoff, and we have that priority Sucker Punch, which is really nice to have. Charlie Nature, EV spread on the attack and speed. Moving on to the next build is a Choice Scarf build, which will allow us to get a little bit of momentum as we can U-turn out. Like if we're going up against a Garganical, you know, we can always U-turn out, or if you want to memento something, memento pretty much just lowers the attack and a special attack by the user by 2. If you don't want to run the memento, mainly because, you know, this Pokemon would actually faint, you can always run Parting Shot, which is only, it's the same thing, but it's just by 1 instead of 2. So you can always do that instead. We have the knockoff. You can more than welcome to change Rocky Payload as well. Let me see. Prevents other Pokemon from lowering this Pokemon's defense. Usually, I don't really see anyone, you know, lowering defensive stats from this thing. Like I said, it's not the bulkiest Pokemon, but yeah, I wouldn't really recommend. I'd probably prefer Kenai over Big Pex in this situation, but yeah, feel free to swap this out for, like I said, Parting Shot. That's another alternative you can have on there as well. Let's see. I think we had some other options on here that you could also run instead of just. But then again, we're Choice Scarf, so that's a little bit iffy. I think that would, yeah, that would be perfectly fine, honestly. So yeah, feel free to, you know, incorporate some of the moves on here. We're gonna get into some more in just a second. Now this one actually caught my attention, and I was like, bro, I'm onto something with this one. And it's something very creative, and at least for me it is. So we have Power Herb with Sky Attack. I say it's creative because I've never seen anybody use Sky Attack. It's a heavy hitting move with 140 power. A little iffy on the accuracy. Feel free to, you know, increase that accuracy with Hone Claws. Charges, then hits turn 2. 30% chance to flinch. I didn't know this actually. 30% chance to flinch and a high crit. That's insane. That's insane to me. And if we can't Sky Attack again because we're going to have to charge next turn, we have Brave Bird as a different option as well. So we have the Sky Attack Power Herb, which is going to allow us not to charge, and we'll be able to attack that same turn. We have Terra Flying just for even greater damage. We have Knockoff, and we have the Stone Edge. So again, Stone Edge, you want to replace it with Rock Blast, Rock Slide. We talked about some of the other ones as well. I believe it gets another move as Rock Tomb is another one. Rock Tomb could be really good to have for that 100% chance to lower the target speed by 1. It's under the unusually used moves, but or useless moves. But I personally like using some of the useless moves to catch people off guard because I like to have a little bit of fun. Pluck is another one as well. If you're trying to steal berries, you know, you get that Terra Flying. Feel free to swap it out for Brave Bird or something. Or if you know there's a Pokemon like that's using Harvest and it's very bulky in its defense, and you know you need to get rid of that berry, or Cheek Pouch, or any berry that you might see or, you know, think that the opposing Pokemon might have, you can always go for the Pluck, eat the berry for yourself and whatnot, and you'll be good to go. Moving on to the next. Well, not really a build, but some, you know, alternatives that I, you know, wanted to incorporate in some of the builds that can be really useful and just handy in general. We have Tailwind. It can also set up Tailwind. We talked about Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch could be really good with Endeavor. I had it here with Focus Sash. Like we can come in on a or we, you know, you lead off with Bombirdier. It could also work when you're coming into an attack, but I feel like it would benefit more if Bombirdier was already in the field. If you know the opposing Pokemon is faster than you, let's say an Iron Bundle, you know, a boosted energy plus the speed, it goes for Ice Beam or Freeze Dry, or the Alolan Ninetales as well. You know, you can click Endeavor after, you know, they proc your Focus Sash, and then you can punch them out with the Sucker Punch, since they're going to think that, you know, you're already going to outspeed them. they're probably like, oh, well, I'll be able to knock this thing out. Nope, we sucker punch. And then we have acrobatics to, you know, double that attack, since we won't have the focus sash or the held item in general. So Tailwind could be really nice to have. Let's look at some other options. We talked about Drill Run. If you want some hidden tech with the Heat Wave, or you want to give it Terra Blast like fire if you're going after like Scizor or something like that, feel free to do so. Terra Water. Let's see what else. It gets access to Hurricane. Probably some of not the best options. I mean, this thing's base special attack is only 60, so let's see. It does get Nasty Plot, but it's probably not the best. Power Gem. It also has access to Roost, but like I said, I probably wouldn't recommend since you're not the bulkiest, but it can also be a Stealth Rock setter. You can have that with Parting Shot or Memento just to set up the hazards. Taunt is actually another good one you can have if you're going up against Pokemon like Chansey or any Pokemon that can be problematic for your team. But Chansey is an example. You know, you can taunt it. That way it doesn't soft boiled, or any other Pokemon. U-turn, we talked about, we didn't talk about Whirlwind, but Whirlwind is another one if you want to have it on there. Like you can have the Focus Sash Whirlwind, and then if you know you're going to be faster than the Pokemon that you actually, that is pretty good. What do you mean? So we can actually have, like, we just come up with a build on the spot. So let's say something comes in and, or it's like max stats or something crazy. You can Whirlwind and then you can Endeavor. I mean, you won't be able to attack that same turn, but, or if they, you know, they misplay, like they try to set up on you because they know that the Bombirdier isn't a threat, you can Endeavor and then Sucker Punch. Like if they had a Tyranitar come in on the Whirlwind, right? You're already at 1 HP, Focus Sash activated, you Endeavor, they Dragon Dance, and then you Sucker Punch. GG Tyranitar. Yeah, that's pretty much Bombirdier. I don't really see any other options. It did get Lash Out if you wanted to run Lash Out as well. Yeah, Lash Out, 2 times power if the user had a stat lowered this turn. You can always run that too if you want to be a little bit hard on yourself, because it's more than likely the opponent would have to have like Intimidate or Parting Shot or something crazy like that, you know. Power Trip, probably not the greatest on here, but you can incorporate it. It gets access to Thief, and you can have Pluck as well if you're just trying to steal stuff or just hit, you know, different targets. But yeah, that's pretty much Bombirdier. Thank you guys for tuning into the video. If you have any suggestions of how you run Bombirdier, feel free to drop them down below, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.